Good morning, everybody. Yeah, if you thought it was a bit weird, me wearing sunglasses over there a minute ago, which I think I'm all right now. I had one of those things called an ocular migraine. It's really annoying. I can't actually see, which when I had to come up and do my notes and when I had to read the music over there, it was a little bit annoying. But God's timing is perfect. I think they're all right now. Can you grab these? Well done. Okay, let's get on with it. Did you know that we've been talking about the good news of Christmas this morning? Yeah, you did? Are you sure? What is the good news of Christmas? I want to make sure we get this absolutely certain because we've talked about good news for everyone. The good news is that Jesus was born for you. Oh, yeah, and you, and go on and on and on. Jesus came so that we can have the best life possible. That's good news, okay? That's why he was born. We'll look at that in a little bit more detail, teeny bit of detail later on. But it's really important that you know the good news is that Jesus came to give us the best life possible and the longest one. So I'm glad we've got that sorted out because now I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer. I don't know if I can have you, Jay, because I need a shepherd, and I was convinced you look just like one of those sheep I saw a minute ago. Can I borrow? Is it okay, Dre, if I borrow Jackson instead, seeing as you've already been a sheep? In fact, if you like, you could even be, if you wanted to be, you could be Jackson's sheep. I don't mind. Jackson, come up here. First of all, we need Jackson to look a little bit more like a shepherd, and my lovely assistant, Deborah, here, is just going to give you something shepherdy. Checking her notes, because she's a total professional. Well, we got a sheep. Oh, look. Yeah? There you are, fantastic. You look, ladies and gentlemen, here we have, come on, everyone needs to see you. This is our shepherd. Now, I don't really have to say much because you already know that this is a stinky, smelly shepherd that nobody likes. Not you, Jackson, just the shepherd, okay? You're great. So this poor little shepherd here, their hours were ridiculous. They had to be out all night, maybe 3 or 4 nights in a row. They wouldn't see anybody, so their social life was meh. They didn't see many people, I'm sorry. They were spending a lot of time clearing up sheep poo. I don't know if they really did that in those days. I'm sure poo just did what it did. Anyway, they were probably a bit smelly. But they were definitely not respected. Okay, these shepherds were not thought of very highly. Oh, thank you. That's really good. You're a very, very social one. So for all these reasons, these guys probably didn't actually have many friends. And they probably thought that not many people actually cared about them. They would probably be ignored and, whatever, it's just a stinky shepherd. They might think that they were not important. Do you think you're not important?
Yes.
Yeah, well done. Excellent. You are such a well-trained shepherd. Fantastic. And the thing is, we look at that, but what did God say? If we look at the story in the Bible, what did God say? These, ladies and gentlemen, these here, were, not sheep, you, okay. These were the people that God chose to be the first to see the baby Jesus. These ones, these stinky little useless shepherds. They were going to see the Savior of the world, the King of Kings, the Messiah that so many people in that place had been waiting for ages. And probably lots of them would have studied it. And these intelligent people who would spend a lot of time studying, thinking, where's it going to be? How's it going to happen? What's it going to do? Well, he's going to come. But a stinky, uneducated, useless shepherd, like this one's pretending to be, these are the ones that God chose to be the first people to actually see the Messiah. The shepherds. I mean, I just absolutely love that. These were the people that God chose to be told by a load of angels. In fact, how many times have you read the Bible from beginning to end, right from Genesis right to the very end? How many times do we see that many angels all in one place? I mean, it gets close a couple of times if you want to go back to Genesis 32. And if I've looked at it, I've researched it, okay? This was a big event. The angels were out partying. This was incredible. And they did it for stinky, unimportant shepherds. Wow. Those other ones in the Bible, by the way, there are things like Jacob and some famous prophet as well. Not a stinky little useless shepherd. But this is not what God says. This is not a stinky, useless shepherd. Because These people then turned out to become messengers themselves. If you've read the story, which I'm sure you had, Luke 2, verse 17, when they had seen him, that's you, the shepherd, okay, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. That would be Jesus. And all who heard it were amazed what the shepherd said to them. Well done, mate. You've done a fantastic job. So you out there, I don't know if any of you out here think that maybe you're not worth it. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're not the sort of person that deserves Jesus and this fantastic story to come into the world. But this is, I think, why God made sure these shepherds could see. He was saying, no, there is no one out here who is not important. You are all important because the good news is for everyone. Everyone. Thank you very much. You may go and sit down. You did a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackson. Woo! I'm going to need 2 volunteers now because you can't be Mary and Joseph by yourself. So I need a Mary and a Joseph. Oh, there's one. I think you look like a very good Mary. I don't know, there's something about you. Are you a well-experienced Mary? This should be good. Right, we're going to do the traditional. Oh, stop it. Oh, look. You're very good at this, Deborah. Oh, we need a Joseph. All right. I'm not having you again, Jackson. Dre, it's your turn. You've done it. You've won. This is Joseph. I don't know if I trust the stuff that that's not Joseph. We're supposed to give that to the shepherds. You might as well give it to Joseph now. There you are. Oh, looks very good. Does he look like a Joseph? I'm a bit scared about what we're going to give him next. Please be careful, Dre. Please be careful. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Well done, Mary. You're looking very good. Okay. Nina, you look really nervous. You obviously know your brother really well. Okay. So, Mary, in our story, she's the one that actually had the baby Jesus. It's important that you know she was really young. Probably not this young, but she was very, very young. And Joseph, of course, was a bit of a craft expert. He knew exactly what to do. He knew how to hold a hammer. That's very good. And he was very good at building things. Could you? No, don't mind. Just stand there and look cute. Now, these two were in big trouble because these two, they were going to have a baby. Which in those days, if you were going to have a baby and you weren't married, which they weren't, oh dear. You would not be thought of very highly at all. In fact, people would throw rocks at you and spit on you, and it would be pretty rubbish, really. So I always find this a bit weird when God comes along and says, good news, and then tells Mary this news. Some of you who were here last week will remember the fantastic song that Mary went into because she was so happy about what was happening. I really don't think she could have thought about it that carefully because, oh my word, it was going to be really, really rough for her and for Joseph. Now, fortunately, Mary had a heads up about the fact that she was going to have a baby. Because the angel Gabriel came and told her, which was really quite useful. Joseph, on the other hand, it wasn't quite so quick for him, and he needed a little bit. There was a while before he got his reassurance. So I can't imagine what it'd be like to have to deal with all that he had to deal with before he had this fantastic dream that God told him and said, don't worry, dude, I've got everything sorted. There would have been a period of time when poor old Joseph here would have been thinking, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, it's not very nice. So for all these reasons, these two, there may have been a lot of trouble in their family. Not trusting them, thinking they'd been naughty, not really liking them for what they've done. They could have been hated people who did not understand what had happened or did not believe what happened to Mary when the angel spoke to her. And I think relationships between all sorts of people would have been really, really strained and difficult. But remember, what did Mary say? She was absolutely overjoyed. She thanked God for blessing her. She trusted God. And I find that absolutely incredible. And then Joseph, he chose to take on his role as father of a child that was God's, not his. Big responsibility. A great model for stepfathers everywhere. Well done, sir. So if you think you've tried going God's way and things actually got harder rather than easier, well, welcome to Mary and Joseph's world. I mean, I've never actually been pregnant, but I am told it is quite tough. I've seen people suffer with it. But here, these are the people who chose to go God's way, even though it was hard. These are the people who are facing all sorts of rejection from friends and from family and even their faith community. These were the people, though, who believed in God's promises and trusted him. And these were the people who knew that Jesus is for everyone. Well done, guys. You can put those things down. Please rescue us, Deborah, quickly. And next, we need a volunteer, Gordon. Well, yes, you, Gordon. You're the volunteer because it just wouldn't be right if Gordon wasn't a wise man. So if you'd like to come and stand over here, Deborah's got stuff for you. If there's anyone else who thinks they're wise as well and would like to stand with Gordon, do you want to, Connor? Okay, you come stand here as well then, because then it makes it look like there's more than one. And more than one is all that's important. In case anyone doesn't know, when the wise men turned up in Jerusalem, there would have been absolutely loads of the people in this little party. It would not have just been a couple of wise men or 3 wise men or 4 wise men. You brought your camel. Notice how this wise man here has, you've got the case, and he's got the real binoculars because you must be the really wise man. And he has a map, which is kind of very, very important. So these guys are very, very rich. You earn more than me, so what can I say? They were thought of as very, very well educated. It's just obvious. They weren't Jewish, which is another interesting thing, and they were not local. And even weirder is they weren't even men of faith, really. These guys were like astrologers. They were looking at the stars. There you are, fantastic. And they were looking elsewhere for truth, which is really, really weird because that is the kind of thing that, well, how on earth can God use that? Let's look at this closely. So these guys were not prime candidates, really, for Jesus. We say that good news is for everyone, but how can it be for these dudes? Because these guys aren't God followers. Astrology is actually condemned in the Bible. In the Bible, it says you shouldn't be doing it, and these guys are doing it, and yet God uses it. What? These guys also, they already have everything. These guys are loaded. They own camels and binoculars and maps and secret stuff in these little boxes. Okay, so some people might think, they've got everything already. Why on earth would they need Jesus as well? But what did these wise men, who, remember, they're wise, these magi, if you want to be more clever, what did they say? They say, we think Jesus is really important. So much so that we're going to go all that way. And it was a long way. I can't tell you the exact detail, but I know there are no buses, cars, trains, planes. They went all that way to go and see Jesus, okay? And they already knew that this Jesus was going to be a king. That's why they brought gold, because it was a special thing that you'd give to kings. They also already knew that he was really holy, this person that they were going to see. They've come from miles away, but they knew already that he was holy. We know that because they bought frankincense, which is a special thing that you'd give to holy people. And they also knew that his death, which is one of the key things about Jesus, in case you haven't met, there's a spoiler alert here. He dies. Okay, and he dies for us. It's absolutely amazing what he did for us. But these magi had come from a long, long way away. They brought myrrh, which said, we know that your death is really, really important. And this is the bit that really gets me. It was God that told them that. God used everything that they were, everything that they believed in. He used it for amazing purposes. So these were the people who chose to seek out this new king. These were the people who believed that Jesus was special. And these were the people that knew Jesus is for everyone. I find that amazing. Yeah, you can put that down. Big finish coming up. Thank you. Right, just put it down there. That's fine. Deborah's not coming to rescue you because there isn't anyone else, and you're responsible. Oh, and Connor. Thank you very much, Gordon. So I want you to remember all those 3 characters, 3 types of characters. The shepherds, Mary and Joseph, the wise men. So remember this. Whoever you are, whatever you have done in your past, however bad you think you are, if you're someone who's really needy, or someone who's really lonely. Or maybe you're someone who has absolutely everything and you don't think you need anything else. Jesus is for everyone, and that includes you. So this Christmas, I'd like you all to take some time to look at Jesus, the baby who split the calendar in two. You've noticed that. We just had the 2022 World Cup in 2022. Why is it 2022? Because it commemorates Jesus being born. Amazing. Love it. This baby was born to die for you. So there's one thing I'd like you to do before we finish. Look at the person next to you. Okay, you might not know them. You might not have met them before. I don't know, but look at them. And I want you to ask yourself this question. This person sat next to me. Was the good news, was Jesus born for that person? See if you can work it out. Look at them. Have you thought about it? Are you looking? Okay, here it comes. The answer is yes. Because Jesus is for everyone. What fantastic good news.